Welcome back, fellow armchair generals. This is Gamer 1745 here with my continuing playthrough of Hearts of Iron 3 with Black Ice 9.11, and we're playing as Japan. If it sounds like I'm reciting some sort of formula, yeah, that is. Okay, well, let's continue this. As from the description of last episode, oops, Barbarossa. And if you checked it out, you're sort of aware of what's going on. I mean, Germans aren't in like some terrible we're getting conquered position right now, but they are not in a good position either. This is, of course, we mod makers really are into, you know, making cool mods, but sometimes we get carried away. This is a Black Ice thing, of course, here that I think maybe I should retract. Well, no, because I don't think here you'd be able to, because there was partisans breaking out here. I don't think you could generate partisans by the means of, you know, in-game mechanics that the AI may be using. So I'm going to go that was a Black Ice thing, and probably shouldn't happen under AI. Okay, amphibious unit training. Okay, good. I believe that's down here. Yeah. Okay, they can continue. Okay, and they're going there, so I want to put this on board ships. That'll be fine. No, yeah, that'll be fine. Rebase down to here and send these guys down there too. I just don't want to take the time to get that manually to it. Now I'm moving many of these divisional HQs to different ports so that if the AI sees them, they hopefully will just see it as some sort of, you know, division without necessarily details of strength, so that they will be a little more worried about invasion. You know, because if they're going to come on strong, they're going to come on strong and plow in. But if they're coming weak, we don't need them to do that. Okay, we've got medium armored designs, infantry support tanks. Okay, short 3, wide 2. Yeah, I think we'll let that wait a bit, I think. Yeah, let's see, jungle attack, that looks nice. So we'll do that. I'm putting them on ports, so they'll be fairly easy to drop a newly made division on that port and send a transport there, pick them up and take them somewhere without too much difficulty in either human interaction or in just time. Gun ability, 4-engine airplanes advance, very nice. Okay, we'll let that one continue. Small ship main armament, okay. Grayed out. And fighter bomber prototypes have advanced. I think we got like 6 or 9 of those, so they're fairly low priority. I think I'd rather have close air support. We don't have lots of those either, but yeah, I think I'd rather do that. I push the Romanians are pushed in a little bit down there. Oh, I found just in the last day or so, constantly searching for things for modding purposes, but also images for thumbnails that would be useful. And I found a sort of a what purports to be, I haven't authenticated it or anything, but purports to be a sort of like a, oh, I don't know, charcoal's probably not it, but some sort of ink drawing that's period for the Stalingrad shield, you know, sort of like the Krim shield, the Crimea shield, and some of the other shields that Germany made for some of the really hard fought battles that they gave to all those who participated in. So at some point during the Stalingrad fight, probably before the winter counteroffensive, this probably makes sense, somebody drew up a design that has sort of like the I think the grain silos and the a German spelling of Volga, I think with a W, Volga, whatever, for that then of course was never made because Germany lost there. But yeah, and I thought, yeah, that'd be great for like an event for, you know, after the conquest of Stalingrad, and presumably, you know, you get to, you know, as you know, for winning it. This is the kind of thing you know, if the AI can sort of kind of see these, if it sees that these units are watching air or watching ports, a little more reluctant, I hope. Okay, ground attack tactics. And we'll move that over to naval strike. So yeah, I'm just constantly looking for things like that yeah, that'd make a good event image. Okay, they're almost there. Okay, good, grayed out, and 4-engine bomber crew layout. Yeah, because those self-flying boats and nav air. We'll let that one continue, but we still have the other one. Bridging equipment. We like river movement. Okay, well now we have, let's see if can I, Yokosuka maybe? Can we add that? Yes, good. So we have a Marine unit, a elite light infantry, pack artillery, anti-aircraft, engineers, and now special purpose armor. What's the other one? I have two here, I believe. Okay, this unit here is just sort of more regular. Okay, and we'll cycle back around to it. And that is, oh no, we're not there yet. Okay, the first Kuri one. Okay, Kuri one. I don't know, they have that should do a bit better for invasion purposes of Hawaii or Andorra, things leading up to it. Okay, so engines good for small ships. We're still doing crude berthing, but allow us to do that. The other thing, escort destroyer frigate model type here. We may do that too soon. Oh, Soviets push back against all that. Wow. How is our plan going of tying up troops just simply sitting here? Reasonably well. I'm guessing there's probably more troops out here than there would be otherwise. We can look here, yeah. Of course, the best thing we could hope for is actually, because some stuff here, maybe it decides that this unit is more needed over here, but this unit here could replace that over there, so they both spend time bouncing back and forth, so it tiles up even more stuff with the AI. Okay, so this is what we've been waiting for, long-range submarine class. Sort of delayed doing that because I didn't know that I was going to, but that allows for, we can see large battery capacity and thick hull pressure. So let's see, where's large battery capacity? Because that's a standard. Oh, up here at top. Okay, so that's actually 1940. So yeah, that's what we want to do right now, because I'm not sure if whether this is upgradable. I don't know if these are upgradable to the ones that are already operational in small crew. Berthing for small ships. Okay, we'll stop that. And we're going to move that one over to this 41. But it will affect at least stuff going into production starting now. Okay, another carrier is ready. And that one we will put, let's see, I think it's, yeah, the Shokaku. Right there. Okay, and there we go. Rebase to carrier. So now we have the Shokaku group here with the Katsuragi and the Kasagi as well. A pocket battleship, 2 heavy cruisers, a light cruiser, but an anti-aircraft cruiser, 2 light cruisers, and 2 destroyers to help both absorb just general combat damage, surface stuff, as well as like looking for submarines and whatnot. So that is a pretty good unit. What else do we have sitting here? Transport, all that now. Okay. We have down here the Taiho group. And over here we have the Yamamoto group getting ready to support invasion of the Philippines. And I thought I also had a, oh, maybe that's over here. No. Where are my coastal battleships? I sent them somewhere, I thought. Yeah, here they are. Okay, they're going to be supporting this invasion, that's right. A lot of shore bombardment capabilities, and hopefully enough to deal with whatever is going to be operating there. And here we have, oh, well, okay, the Zuikaku group. And coming out of here, we've got, oh, you need to be, Yamamoto needs to be promoted. Okay. The Soyu and Hiru group. And the first Kudo Tai. Kudo Tai means like air carrier group or something like that, I believe. With the Kaga and the Akagi. And over here at truck, we've got a battleship group with just a light carriers escorting it. Another battleship group, bigger one with another light carrier. So yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah. Okay, they're getting. It's getting near its capacity. That could take a lot more capacity. So. I think the first big decisive campaign is going after Hawaii. I guess it's sort of what happened historically, but we're going to, either we're going to get our ships slaughtered, which is possible, because I think the AI will be building more battle or carriers than happened historically. Sure. And they could be around there and we could get slaughtered, which just means we gotta, yeah, I'm willing to get slaughtered a couple of times here just experimenting with things, but or we will take out Hawaii and these islands very quickly, and which will allow us to more focus. But hey, we do have carriers to operate down here too, which is somewhat historical. Okay, we got 2 division headquarters down here, so let's see about dropping. Oh, wait a minute, is one of them the 54th? Nah, whatever. Oh, probably not an armored division. Commander in charge of that. Okay, he'll get the division. Now, I think my subs made it here. Yes. Okay, can they? They're going to patrol up here. Give intel to the Germans, hopefully, because like I can see theirs, they should be able to see mine. And the Soviets should be leaving them alone. Now, not much going on here. Why don't we patrol around Malta to give? Again, not at war, so they won't be sinking anything while there's an attack here. But hopefully it'll, you know, give intel. And if and when, more when, but we join the war, we'll be able to help out. Yeah, this is exactly the thing that oh, look at the Italians have donated a light armor unit to the Germans. How cute. Oh, and the Germans have donated a medium armored unit to the Serbs. Oh, that's good and efficient. Oh, and there's a light one too. Oh, that's really special. That's so special. Okay. Oh, and the Italians have donated some to the Serbs as well. Oh, that's really special. Yeah. Because trust me, even light armor here against the Soviets would be damned useful. Because it just allows you to keep moving, move, 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 move. Well, we've got to drop that down to there. Oh, which means we have more ICs we could do stuff with. Okay, you can see we're building a bunch of air. Now we're done with all of our divisions. Well, we could do some escort fighters. Yeah, that'll do. Especially since here, I mean, maybe the and they're sitting here waiting for reinforcements to attack the militia units that are just basically attack them and they evaporate. You know, well, Vichy's right now neutral, obviously. But if they were, you know, an Axis person in Germany wanted to give some armor units to Vichy, and Vichy was going to stick them to garrison down here, I'd be reasonably comfortable with that, you know. But I'm going to stick these guys in here. Basically, I just want to see who is. Let's just go sort of generic. We don't need a ground attack specialist for this. For 20 fighters, I don't know where I want to use them. Whether I want to see, I think I might want to stack them with, well, land-based naval air units, but they've got shorter legs, as it were. So, okay, do we still have some headquarters? Yeah, we have one headquarters, the 48th. Okay. Well, this will join the 48th and the 58th. There we go. Okay, landing craft flotillas, right. Proved, yeah, will consume more fuel, but will give greater range, which is nice. Yeah, I don't want to bother with that. I don't know when or if I'm going, well, sea attack, but that's 44. Okay, yeah, improved security units. We're going to be occupying lots of places, and submarine snorkels. Okay. Hope we're, you know, I was just thinking, probably not going to do any more research there. I'm just really hoping we have a decision, well, before 44, but we will see one way or another. Yeah, jungle unit training, that sounds like a good one. Hope these lightly escorted groups are strong enough to stand off submarines and stuff like that. That's about all I'm really expecting them to do. And deal with at least minimum amounts of air attacks. Some big doom stack hits them. I'm not expecting them to do anything useful, the escorts. But then if I spotting a doom stack, I'm hoping to either completely avoid it or you know, vector in some good surface fleets. Okay, very good. Single engine fighter prototype. Yeah, we want to win that, so let's start off with the aero engine. Get that going. Oh, looks like we got an Italian invasion going on in Malta. Air landing infantry equipment, okay. Very good. And that is grayed out. Yeah. I think it's time to, well, we'll do support weapons because that's takes longer to research. Well, minor back and forth here in the desert, so I guess that's good. Better, of course, would be Italy, you know, taken out. Egypt and all, but this is already gone down here, so. So let's pause this for a moment. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 divisions. So we've got 8 divisions sort of ready to go after Hawaii. Okay. Unload. Okay. What I want to do here is, actually I saw, because I've got an airborne division, I think it is, without an HQ down here. And we should probably have that down here. I think I do get those. Yeah, that guy could use an HQ. And he could also use some engineers that are airborne. And a elite one would be better. And this guy I think should go into here. There we go. There we go. Good invasion force unit. Possibly to come in and hit in here, but we want to make sure, but maybe before take out here. See if we can take out someplace like here, Kuching, then we can supply into here, and then if we just land somewhere, you know, on the coast here, we can then air supply over. Be able to do it. I don't know if we have, well, we have an air base here that I've, with good foresight, had built. So maybe we could air supply from there. Just to sort of make, if these guys are being held up at all, but obviously there's gaps in the line and somewhere. Small garrison detachment, so that may be an easy overrun, and it'd be better just to invade, you know, various islands. Okay, we've yet to hit, well, let's see what we have. Operation Z, attack of Pearl Harbor. Okay, it needs to be at least December 7th. So we could do that. Tora. It's at least December 7th, and we're at war with the USA. So, yeah, okay, good. We'll see just when we'll do this. Going, because I have no strong, like, we've got to attack on December 7th or 8th or 9th, because actually, if you didn't know, that it was actually attacked on December 8th for the Japanese international dateline, but December 7th in the US. And so I have no like strong reasoning to, oh, we've got, oh, and I wanted to move. We'll do 4 more divisions. We're going to do that from the I wanted to put them on the bigger unit ship here. I know 3 you would be able to handle before, but partially, you know, divisions to take out these islands too. But I am thinking sometime December, January date. Don't know what would delay it. I'm always like, Barbarossa for me is always, you know, oh, I've got, you know, 3 more armored divisions coming. Do I wait? Or, oh, the clock is such, you know, that, you know, we want to go now, you know, we want to go as early as we can, all that kind of stuff. Well, I'm feeling, you know, just sort of history and other things, clock pressure to a degree, but not the clock pressure of winter's coming kind of thing, which we definitely feel with invading the Soviet Union. Because I'm sure that, and I, you know, don't pay attention, but I know that the monsoon seasons is going to affect at least operations in here. Don't know how much other ones, and I'm not even sure when that is going to be seasonally. So, but I'm just, you know, if things get bogged down, they get bogged down. I'm not that worried about it. It just, I just don't feel that winter type pressure. So, but generally speaking, late 41, early 42 is when we're going to go. And so I will look at, you know, what ships might still, but these are all looking pretty, you know, May, well, March isn't that, but now these are still coming in October, so we'll get some of those. These are coming in November, January. So, yeah, so I might want to wait to deploy a few of these lighter forces, maybe get a few more, you know, we'll give them, sure, you can have fuel. You probably need fuel. Now I know you're fighting our allies, but we'll take the money now. So yeah, it's that sort of thing. Okay, Veteran HQ, and I think it's this one. Yep, there we go. Now we've got combined arms bonus and a Veteran HQ qualification there. Okay, we got lots and lots of fuel. Now I was just thinking, let's move, since our air power is down here, our airborne air power, let's move that down here, and I think we have yes. Click, click, there we go. Yeah, might as well come down here. And I do hope to use my you know, airborne divisions to invade some islands and things. But I'm looking at, you know, well, this is often overlooked by the AI. Do we want to, you know, just take that out with a quick airdrop? Yeah, or do we want to do it with a naval invasion? If we see all of the, you know, Philippine AI, because I'll probably do something of a here and or here as a semi-historical instead of trying to plow right into the fortified. Oh, that's right, we don't have TRE installed. Yeah, this should be Manila Harbor should be sort of coastal forted up, and probably a fortress here, but okay. On the sort of mod forum for Hearts of Iron 4, I posted a one event mod that recently is being added to another American event mod, in which it does coastal forts for the U.S. And it has a video about Fort Drum. Fort Drum was a or is, it still is, it's still there, is a rock that's sort of in the middle of the entrance of Manila Bay. Well, back in, well before World War II, I think, well, maybe after World War I, but I'm not quite sure. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers goes in and basically reshapes the rock to some degree and pours tons, literally tons, or tens of tons or whatever of concrete around it, and create a battleship sort of looking thing in there that has a big gun battleship type turret on it. And so it's this really near impregnable fortress, and they did, before the start of World War II, put some anti-aircraft guns and stuff on it, but those get blasted away fairly quickly. And so Fort Drum is one of the last sort of holdouts that the U.S. holdout in Manila Bay area. You know, they only have a limited amount of food, but it's really hard to take, and it's still sitting there. The gun turret is still there with the guns, but it's all rust. It's a rusted hulk now, but the concrete's still there. So Fort Drum would definitely, with its because it's a naval gun turret type turret, so it can fire just about 360 degrees, so it can fire in support of land, and it did land targets as well. And that, along with Corregidor, which is another island that was fortified, and the the peninsula there, Bataan, was also fortified. and was meant to be the sort of defense of the Philippines, which of course MacArthur, who has some responsibility for it, ignores and goes up and tries to fight the Japanese in the beaches and gets his ass kicked badly. I don't know whether he just underestimated the Japanese, thinking of them, oh, they're just slant-eyed Asians that we can beat them easily. Or because there are U.S. units, Army units, as well as the Philippine units. Most of the Philippine units do very poorly. The Philippine scouts do very well, is my understanding. Not maybe very well on some counteroffensive against Japanese landings, but overall they do fairly well. So MacArthur comes up, tries to fight the Japanese, fights them, loses badly, has to fall back. Well, I don't know if somebody didn't get the memo, or almost literally, or whatnot, but there was a plan there's sort of somewhere, because the bay is sort of here, somewhere up here there's a major army dump of all kinds of things, literally all kinds of things, that never gets shifted into Bataan Peninsula. It's sort of, in good warehouses. And, you sort of take care of stuff like in the tropics, and if you don't, it all falls apart. So this is everything from ammunition for rifles and artillery pieces, to food, lots and lots of food, to medical supplies, to probably, automotive parts, to keep trucks rolling. Well, they don't get hardly any of that to the Bataan Peninsula that they are supposed to. And that would have incredibly, I don't know percent-wise or anything, but incredibly increased the amount of ammunition on the island, or on the peninsula, which would have been, because they had they held out basically until starvation. Well, no. Corregidor, I think, is more or less until starvation really becomes a factor. Bataan, they hold out until ammunition is gone. And in the last elements of the Bataan fighting, they are, conserving ammunition greatly, but still holding off the Japanese attack. Had they had a plethora of ammunition, very likely they could have held out considerably longer. I say very likely because they might have just not have been as careful early on and just spewed out a lot more ammunition and used it up. So that very well may have happened. But probably they still would have been careful with their ammunition, even if they had a lot more, because the plan is to hold out on Bataan and wait for the American Navy to show up. Now, of course, the American Navy is sunk in Pearl Harbor. That the Navy that they're waiting for is the battleship Navy, is to come in and deal with that. And so that's sunk, so that isn't coming. And even the carriers, obviously they weren't, but they alone can't come. And so the Navy isn't showing up. They sort of know this stuff fairly early on, though MacArthur is very much pulling a Chinese Gordon. Chinese Gordon, or Gordon of Khartoum, played by Charlton Heston in the movie Khartoum. Very good. Highly recommend. Watch it. If you want to know about what's the Mahdi and Islamic fundamentalism and its long history of anti-Western, pro-slavery activities. But Chinese Gordon, and he's a British guy, but he read a book on him. He for a while had been involved down in Khartoum, and I forget so much because I've sort of read stuff a little bit later in. He's sort of a Christian fundamentalist type guy, but he's involved in the anti-slavery movement in Sudan region, and so really good sort of administrator. I don't know if he was the governor down there or exactly. He has some official position. He's not just some dude sent out by the church. He has some official position. Well, does that for a while, and then again, because there's more. The book is on the ever victorious army. He goes out to China and sets up a imitation Western army, and the Chinese that serve in this are very proud of that. that title, in that they imitate Western ways of fighting. And so this is the ever victorious army. And he does really good, basically stabilizing China for the imperial system. All these unequal treaties, all this, Europeans are bad for China stuff that's still going on, and we've talked about in some of the chats. Yeah, but they don't seem to want to talk about Chinese Gordon. Oh yeah, and Chinese Gordon becomes a Mandarin, I believe. Well, which is sort of, a status rank. Actually, what I have read a bit more about his successor. I mean, it covers Gordon's part too, but Townsend, who also comes out and commands the ever victorious army after Chinese Gordon leaves China. But Townsend is still very highly regarded for those who know history in China. And he is a Westerner. And so Chinese Gordon, that gets sort of his name from leading this army. And he and Townsend, who takes over after him, but Townsend is there when Gordon is there. I mean, that's, Gordon leaves, so he's promoted into command. There were a bunch of European officers. Right now, because I'm saying all this stuff and I'm trying to remember this book that I read probably more than 20 years ago. So, and I still have it. It's on my shelf. But, I'm not really familiar with it. But it's very much in the, 1880s, this time period, funded by the Chinese and very much trying to stabilize the imperial system within China. This isn't a European conquest situation. They were buying the arms, whether it's the small arms or the artillery and whatnot from the Europeans. There were European officers and NCOs that were basically promoted to being officers, training up the Chinese to fight like Europeans and all this stuff. And this army, it goes from victory to victory to victory, and it is for this region is actually a very small army. But they do very well, and it's various things I'm sure limit the size of the army, including the amount of rifles and whatnot. So they have fairly high casualties at different points, if I remember correctly. But there's always volunteers to come to join it because it's ever victorious, and people feel confident about joining a victorious army. And of course, you have the usual thing: life ain't good in China. Get a good job where your rice bowl's full, and that kind of thing. So yeah, but Gordon gets sent to evacuate Khartoum. And he decides once he gets there, because Khartoum is the city is sort of an island. It's an artificial island a bit. But not necessarily an island all the time. It's when the Nile is is not this big wide. It's right on the river here. It's not always. It depends on the flood stage of it. So it's not a drought that makes it not an island. So it's not global warming. It's just the Nile floods every year, if you didn't know this, and then goes back down, or at least it used to. I don't think it does so much anymore because they have the Aswan High Dam. Here, that dams it up and controls the flood. But this part of the Nile above the Aswan Dam will still flood every year. So he goes down there and basically holds out and come and rescue us. And there's like 6 or 8 Europeans in the army there. The rest are all Egyptians and local Sudanese that are fighting against the Mahdi. The Mahdi takes the capital and whatnot. And it takes about 10 years for the British to show back up and kick the Mahdi's butt for killing Gordon. But Gordon stays and plays upon everybody's, in Europe, come and rescue me now. He was sent there to evacuate the pro-Western forces. Again, there weren't that many actual Europeans. And there was at the time a few Nile river boats able to move around up and down the river, and he was meant to get all the people that he could out well, he decides, to grandstand and, come and rescue. So the British Army's forming up an army below the falls and is trying to support it, but that sort of stops once Khartoum falls because they're really not that prepared to come and whatnot at the time. So that's sort of what MacArthur is playing at. He's playing at, you come and get us, you come and save us, you come and save us, you come and save us, when America is just in no capability of coming and saving the Philippines. Just not. And I'm sure we'll talk about this more, but it's just, you can't come up looking at this stuff. Because the fleet is sunk. And even if that, because that was the older fleet compared to what they built, I don't know how good that fleet would have been if it hadn't, if like Pearl Harbor happens, oops, everybody's, not just the carriers, but everybody's out at sea somewhere, way off out here doing some military exercises, and oops, just some bombing happens. I don't know that fleet would have been able to, in any real sense, send relief force out to the Philippines. But there's still good reason to hold out, because all the troops fighting the Bataan Peninsula, two things are happening. One, you are fighting in a terrain, in a situation in which you're fortified, they're not, so they're having generally higher casualties than you are. So you're being more effective than the enemy. You're killing more of them than they are of you. Two, you're delaying those troops from doing other things. Immediately would be the occupation of the rest of the Philippines, but also, just as we expand out here, other sorts of occupation stuff, which, whether it ABDA force, which was the Australian, British, American, they had evacuated the basically surface fleet from the Philippines already, or very, very early stages. So that's here. American, British, Australian, British, Dutch force down here. That was a hodgepodge force that tried to operate together, and for what it was, I think it did okay, but it just wasn't up to fighting a coordinated fleet. But the Dutch had been sent some Brewster Buffaloes, which they're fighter planes, and we've talked a bit about how poorly that they were operated, particularly in Burma. The Dutch got, but they were mostly disassembled, and I don't think they hardly got any of them assembled, and maybe the Dutch did, but had they been supplied and got a supply, they're supplying, had they, I don't, because a lot of the Japanese early targets were up in Borneo, up here to get the oil fields. I don't know if they could have held Java or could have held Sumatra, but that would, of course, been a whole lot different had Singapore been properly defended, meaning counterattacked, and that whole Japanese force basically made to surrender, which would have probably brought down the Tojo government. But if Singapore could hold out, I think ABDA force and the Dutch down here were more, able to hold out for a while. And so instead of Australian reinforcements moving like into these parts of the world, they could have moved in here. Would have been different. Yeah, I don't know. Obviously, we don't know because there isn't one single clear, it isn't like, well, if we had only taken, Moscow, we would have won, or, we can't, just clearly state one sort of thing that would have done it. But so they were doing good holding out, and could have been done better. MacArthur really flubbed it. MacArthur I take to be, and I know we've had this debate, a great man. Now he had very real flaws, and he was a grandstander. He generally took credit for what his subordinates were doing. Now he's put the subordinates in place and he's approved their plans and whatnot, but he sort of makes it out in the press that it's him, and we can talk about some of his other flaws. He had them, but I still take him as a very great man, especially if you look at his, if you add in his occupation of Japan, not just fighting in Korea, but his setting up of modern day Japan. He's a great man. Yeah. And, you know, someone's criticism of, you know, some of this stuff are probably very valid criticisms. I'm not going... I think that's the battle command. Nope. You know, it has annexed Iran. Okay, so... Britain gets Iran and the Soviets get a bunch of other parts of Iran too. Okay, like they did historically. Yeah, I don't. What is our completion? I figured that was just, yeah, that's was recently done. I guess didn't get notified that, but we will move that over to here, that to there. Well, we're going to end the episode here. I want to thank you for watching. I want to thank you for liking the videos. I really appreciate that when you do. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. And of course, I really love hearing from you, even if it's just saying hi, sort of know who's watching, who made it to the end. If it's that, maybe I should put a secret word of the day or something at the end. If you say it, you get, I don't know, a response from me or something to know who made it to the end of the videos. That would be cool. So, see you next time.